Good morning, sweethearts. Happy Monday. How y'all doing? It is a magical start to a new week. And as we continue to release collectively and individually, mostly collectively right now, what is coined darkness, or the condensed light, or the carbon-based programming body, however you want to look at it, as you continue to release these things, this denseness from your vessels. It's really, really helpful, sweet ones, to intake more water. Water is our natural state of being. And so, good morning, Linda. Good morning, Kelly. Oda, Alice. Good morning, sweethearts. And this is, much is coming up, sweet ones, and this is where it's really necessary to really see yourself. And the reason I say that is this is going to affect everybody in different ways. This shedding of the skin, if you will. Or, as some refer to as the collective dark night of the soul, some refer to it as the great purification. Whatever label, distinction each of us have to give it, however that may be, sweethearts. But this is for you. Because everything you do, how you react to it, what you choose to release, what you choose not to release, literally is affecting the collective in every given moment right now, in every given breath. And this is where our mastery comes in right now, especially for the first wavers, the gatekeepers, the grid workers. Three ones, you can liken this to you're at the guardian, you're standing in front of the guardians to the gates of heaven, and your heart is being weighed against a feather. And energetically on a soul level, that has already been energetically done. I don't want to call if it's going to happen anywhere. Well, I don't know what you mean by that, Peter. I don't want to call if it's going to happen anywhere. It's happening everywhere. Anything that is fear, whether that is worry, whether that is anxiety, whether that is stress, whether that is prejudice, whether that is whatever religion, whatever that may be, whatever is of condensed light, any beliefs that are held, anything of the old 3D mind construct right now that keeps you from being pure light is coming up for you to deal with. And it's coming up through your experiences. The same thing that is consistently repeated. And you're going to find many will fall away and many will come into your presence, because the higher frequency you rise to, depending on the inner work you do, depending on the fear you face, whether that is your fear of extraterrestrials, whether that is your fear of of loving another and trusting another. Let's see what Peter says. This weather is predicted 2017, the start of the new cycle of the new moon, and the new planet is on the way in the beginning of the next year, the new planet. New planet's already here. That's what you guys are anchoring into right now. This planet goes through the sun at the winter solstice. The planet, as as Gaia 3D, goes, that's the shedding of the skin you guys are going into. When she goes into her full light body at the winter solstice, sweethearts, we fully go into ours. We're ascending with the planet. And everything that Peter just said, all of this has already happened energetically. All of this has already happened. The physical plane is just catching up. And that is the necessity, especially for the first wavers, the grid workers, the ley line workers, the gatekeepers. That's where we're at right now. We are literally in a space of charging the light body and getting the light body into full charge in order to continue on with these frequencies. The higher we continue to go with these frequencies and the more they continue to increase on this planet, whatever it can be termed dark, chaos, whatever you want to label it, it's coming up to be reviewed individually. If it is in your awareness, sweethearts, you're conduits. If it is in your awareness, that is for you to go within and release it and transform it for the planet. That is the purpose of each of us being here right now, whether that purpose is remembered or not. And that's where we're at. And we're literally, as the planet sheds her skin, we're shedding it too. She releases it out of the planet, it comes into us. At the same time, the light is coming into us, and we transform it for her. That's who we are. That's who your inner child is this planet. And your whole journey, sweethearts. Heal your inner child. Heal your inner child. That inner child is this planet. We're conduits. We've always been conduits. And the only way for it to be transformed was through us, by us, as us. And that's why it's so necessary to make it impersonal. Because we're conduits. And the only way to override a thought-created program was to do it through feeling. And the only way you can feel is in form. And so, that's what we are. And the thing is every one of our experiences, in this lifetime especially, was neutralizing and being those transformers and being those transmuters for Gaia. We're the best of the best, and many of you are coming into that remembrance right now as humanity goes through a mass awakening. And that mass awakening is from the new moon we just went through all the way up to the winter solstice, and especially up into the 12/12 gateway. And this is where a lot of fear, a lot of fear is coming up. This is where a lot of people are projecting out the second, third, and fourth and so on, because they've reached a new frequency, and now they're having to deal with new fears. Now they're having to deal with another layer, and so many with this intensity. Many are projecting out, well, this is, you're a false prophet, or this person's a false prophet. And sweet ones, it's really helpful to understand there are no false prophets. And why do I say that there are no false prophets? Because we are our own false prophets. What you see in another exists in you. And why do I say we are our own false prophets? Because everything you learned on your spiritual journey in the 3D grid has now become false. So if you are still living and being and doing and acting according to the old teachings, the old belief systems, that's where you're going to find so many in yourself telling people they're false prophets. Everybody is at their own frequency, sweet ones, and each of you are clearing a certain timeline for yourself. So not everything is going to resonate with every single one of them. That does not make it true, false, or untrue. Truth is as fluid as the frequency you maintain and the frequency you allow yourself to embrace and evolve to. And every frequency you rise to, that truth changes because deeper clarity comes in. And so if you're finding yourself projecting out, if you're finding yourself consistently saying my truth or your truth, or you're not really genuine, because that's not real compassion. That's showing yourself. Because anything of the 3D grid and the 4D astral plane is collapsing, is no more. Yes, we're in a transition. So, many are going to say, no, we're in 3D, Linda, da-da-da-da. That's correct. But again, everybody is at their own frequency. And with that, perception changes, sweethearts. That's where you as masteries, that's where you are coming into a space of unity. You're leaving separation. And this is where, when you can allow yourselves to really view everything right now as a tool and not take it personally, and know that it is just condensed light, the rest of the carbon-based density of your vessels coming up, just to truly be returned to the light. Your religious texts talk about this time, only they talk about it in the false contrast. As long as you believe there is evil in this world, there will be evil in your world. And there is no such thing as evil. And sweet ones, we have moved into, we are moving, and you're rising more and moving more and more into that space. There is no evil. You see no evil. You hear no evil. You speak no evil. Because that is our natural state of being. You have left polarity, sweet ones. And those who are still operating, who have chosen not to awaken with this planet, will still experience that. Let's see what Peter's saying. If you guys want to, I'm not going to read it out loud what Peter's saying. Peter, I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm saying is, all of that we're living the predictions and the prophecies right now. For some, they're playing out right now, depending on your frequency. For others, it will be 2018. For others, it'll be 2020. Again, sweet ones, it's all where you're at on your journeys. It's all the frequency you hold. And Peter, I respect you for sharing that. I thank you for sharing that. But we have, all the predictions, all the prophecies are no longer accurate, because we have left a space of time. We have entered a frequency of all time. So the Gregorian calendar is no more, sweet ones. And all of the time is, all the timeline. So what Peter's talking about, it's very accurate. And yet it has inaccuracies. There's truth and untruth in everything, sweet ones. And not only that, anything that has been prophesized, anything that has been predicted, in this space in time, you're changing the outcome in every given minute of those predictions. The predictions stated that our world was going to end. The world's already ended and has been re-begun. So, in every given minute, in every given breath, in every given moment, that's being affected in every way by the choices. Is appearing next year for the first time, and the new planet will appear in Highbury. Appears in Atlantis. Peter, would you like to take over my video? I appreciate your sharing. It's interesting. I think there's a way you can join in. I think. I'm not sure how. I'm looking. And as you go forward, sweet ones, your perceptions of truth are going to change. Your beliefs are going to change. As long as you continue to, and this is what these energies are showing everybody, as long as you continue to go by everything that has been written in the old, as long as you continue to follow other people's advice and what other people tell you to do, you're not standing in your own power and claiming your own power. And good morning. Big hugs and blessings, sweethearts. And sweet ones, it cannot be emphasized enough that everything is right now in this moment. That 2018 is right now in this moment. That the year 2030 is right now in this moment. And it does not matter what has been prophesied, what has been predicted. We are that prophecy. We are those predictions. And much clarity will be coming in. This new moon, again, will and has increased the sensitivity, the clarity, the deeper truth by 40%. And again, everybody is at their own frequency of understanding, and overstanding, sweet ones. And for those that are at a lower frequency than maybe what you reside at, they're going to still be in a space of those truths. And anything of the old 3D grid, the teachings, everything are no longer accurate because they were created and given in a lower frequency. And we have moved into a higher octave frequency. And with that, anything of the old has now become untrue. It no longer fits because you're no longer in that frequency of space. And the higher you allow yourself to rise to, you're going to find a lot of that stuff no longer resonates with you. And that's okay, because everybody is at their own space. And that's where we just hold space and love them through it, knowing that all is as it needs to be. All of this knowledge has been written down for thousands of years. We just have to know where to go and find the book. All knowledge is man-made. And at this space and time, there is no greater moment than to stop relying on outside knowledge, outside opinion, outside everything outside of you, because the outside is morphing and transforming and crumbling away. And so right now you're being asked and you're being guided by your teams and by your angels, your guides, your spirits, yourself, whatever label you want to give it, sweet ones. You're being guided to stop listening to the outside world and to go within and to listen to yourself. The more you focus within, sweet ones, and the more you hear your heart and soul and where it's guiding you and what it's telling you, you're going to find this transition is going to be a lot more graceful and a lot more gentle and a lot more easy. And knowledge comes from outside of you and from experience. Wisdom comes from your heart. And right now you're being asked to surrender to that wisdom and unlearn everything that you have been taught in the 3D, everything that you have learned in the 3D archonic grid. You are being asked to unlearn it. And as we go forward, sweet ones, you're going to find it is much easier to tap into the living library of the earth and your Akashic records. Many of you have been mentioning that why am I in it's like I'm having a dream that I'm walking down a big hallway, and at the end there's a door that I enter into, and it's just, You know, there's so much information in there. What is this place? You guys are tapping into your Akashic records. You guys are tapping into the living library of Earth. And that you want to know anything and everything, sweet ones, about yourself. Tune in and ask yourself, connect me to the Akashic library. You have the power in this moment right now, sweet ones, to access any information of this planet, of you, of any of us. How you use it is really going to tell you where your mastery is. If you can tap into that information, how you use that information is going to determine where you're at. Now, if you are not able to connect into, seemingly not able to connect into the Akashic records, yada yada yada, don't get frustrated, sweet ones. Remember, the more you try to awaken yourself, the more you try to awaken the outside world, the more you're going to keep yourself trapped. Because the only way you individually, being the conduit that you are for this planet, and the purpose you are alive right now on this planet, has to be changed through you. So if you are still focusing on the outside world in any way, and you're not doing the inner work within yourself, this is going to be a more difficult transition. And the more you tune in and listen to yourself, this will be much more graceful, because you change the outside world through you. It's the only way it can change is through you, because that's what you signed up to do in this lifetime. That is your purpose. That is your mission. We are conduits, and that's all we are, is conduits. And many of you are coming more and more into that understanding, that that's all we are, is conduits for this planet to save ourselves. And again, as long as you rely outside of you for information, you are only getting either complete untruth or half-truth at this frequency that this planet has moved into. And so, three ones, really face what's coming up. Really observe it, and really observe the beliefs, that are coming up. Well, it has to be this way because this is what it's been said, or this is what I was told, or this or that. Who you are right now is not who you were last night before you went to bed. And who you will be tomorrow will not be who you are right now. Because energy changes and energy flows. And everything that's coming up right now is coming up to show where there is still a carbon-based density in your vessel. And you will find the more inner work you do, facing these fear-based ideologies and thoughts and holographic illusions that are coming, that are being presented to you, literally, especially many of you. Second, third, and fourth waivers are coming into a space right now where you're facing seemingly malevolent ETs, aliens, this and that and the other, whatever you want to label it. Many of you are having so-called nightmares, or remembering that you were abducted onto a ship. Those are fear-based programmings that was deliberately, subliminally put into your minds to fear your galactic families, to fear star races. And many of you are having dream times and these things, you're experiencing these things in your meditations, in your dream time. Some of you are finding yourselves in spaces where you're wide awake like I am talking to you right now, and all of a sudden you're seeing a flash and you're wide awake. What the hell's happening? Why do I still see the outside shell of my house, but right now I am watching a whole lot of green aliens come at me, and they're trying to capture me, and they're trying to do this, and they're trying to take me? Linda, what's happening? What's going on? And again, those of you who have chosen to awaken and ascend with this planet, sweethearts, that's all fear-based fear, condensed light, untruth that is coming up to be presented. And that is a fear that you have to face, knowing what you know, that you know what you know, that there is no good or bad, that there is no fear, and that this is just a program that you are releasing. It is condensed light of untruth that is being released from your vessel. And again, sweet one, this has all taken place already. And now it is taking place on the physical plane of it, if you will. And when you can allow yourselves to really embrace, regardless of the doubts that are coming up and being presented right now. Peter, aliens is a very derogatory name for us. We're extraterrestrials. Aliens, with the word alien was created in a lower frequency to assist the mind programming of fear-based, to have humanity fear extraterrestrials and their galactic nature and their galactic side of them and their galactic families. And again, Peter, I love you, sweetheart. And again, you can... Peter, I'm from 175 million years in the future, sweetheart. Everything you're telling me doesn't exist. It exists for you guys, yes. But that's my mission. I'm here to help you guys see through your own veils, to see through space and time, and to allow those veils of space and time to dissolve. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to show you what's occurring energetically, and you can... And I try to show you a whole 360-degree way around it through every lens. How you interpret that is on you guys. How you take it in the inner work that you do with it, that's your journeys. But the underlying energy of this planetary ascension right now, that's where I speak to you from. I speak to you from the deck of a starship. And to the human mind, it can't wrap its mind around that. And as you're going to find, sweet ones, it's going to get more challenging for you to speak. You're going to stumble over your words, because much of your languages, again, slang is a perfect example, was created in an old grid. So that too, those frequencies have to change, and that's why you find yourself stumbling over words, not finding the right words to say what your spirit is showing you, what your spirit is conveying to you. And that's because words are a spell. Words are powerful. And you're going to find you struggle with it because so many of you have been, all of us, have been in that space where you speak in negativity. I don't, I can't, I shouldn't, I wouldn't, what if? And you speak and have been taught to never be in the present moment, to always be in the future or to be in the past. Well, this happened in the past, so it'll happen again. Well, this is what people say in the past. Well, when are you going to stop trusting other people and start trusting and listening to yourself? Just because it's written doesn't make it truth. Just because it's predicted doesn't make it truth. And the reason why it doesn't make it truth is because it was all written, prophesized, predicted in a lower frequency of separation. We have moved into a frequency where separation no longer exists. It only exists in the carbon-based density of your vessels, of your physical vessels. And that is what is coming up to be released. This can take you as long, individually. People ask, how long is it going to take, Linda? It's going to take as long as you allow it. You can speed it up by drinking up more water, by focusing within rather than on the outside world as it transforms and morphs physically to the physical eyes of the human aspect. Or you can focus within, and the more water you drink, the more you flush this stuff through your system. You know, and the more you focus within and face your own and use everything that's occurring, the outside world as a tool, rather than an addiction, rather than, and I say addiction because it is an addiction. And it's an addiction to what is comfortable and familiar. And that's what you have to leave behind. You have to be willing to step into the unknown and embrace the unknown and the unseen right now. Because the outside physical world is morphing to spirit. And the frequency of spirit, which is your light bodies. I appreciate you, Peter. And for those of you that still resonate with what Peter's sharing, there's a lot of truth in it. For that timeline, for that frequency. But many of you will find as you rise in frequency that some of that stuff isn't necessarily going to resonate with you anymore, and that's okay. It doesn't make it false, it doesn't make it untruth, it just is no longer truth, or is not truth yet for you at that whatever frequency you're at. And that is really prevalent right now, sweet ones. That is showing everybody, everybody can have their own beliefs because everybody's in their own paradigm, within their own timeline, within their own frequency. There is no wrong, there is no bad, there is no false, that is only perceptions and beliefs and logical for the human aspect side of you. You are multidimensional, galactic divine beings of light. Every single one of you are an extraterrestrial, or as Peter labeled it, aliens. And some of you can embrace that, some of you can't. And that is again what I was sharing, where these people are freaking out saying, Linda, all these green men are coming at me, or no, I was being abducted by a gray alien. Seriously, Linda, I watched them. They took me into the ship. Again, that's all fear-based stuff. It's not true. And that is why it's being presented for you. So you can face that fear. And until you face these fears, disclosure cannot happen to you individually, sweet ones. Disclosure is a frequency. Just like I took a picture of the starship right outside my window and posted it the other day. I mean, you can see them. The higher in frequency you rise to, they'll unveil themselves. The beauty of this moment right now is with this new moon and with this increase of a massive awakening all over all of humanity. A mass awakening is occurring. And with that, more and more will see the ships. More and more will see the crafts at night. More and more of you will see, and you will find that we're getting ready to come through, or humanity collectively is getting ready to collectively rise to where they're going to start seeing disclosure, because we're going through a mass awakening collectively. And that's the beautiful thing about this time, guys, is when is it going to end? Well, it really already has ended. And believe it or not, well, that's probably not the right words to use. Clear, cancel, and delete that, team. Whether you can fathom it or not, you're sitting in a huge, or dancing, or standing, whatever label you want to give it, in a huge celebration right now. And your human aspect is catching up to that. Indigo, that's awesome. And many of you, many are taking pictures and are recognizing the ships that are cloaked and in the clouds. And you see many more posted on Facebook. You know, they're catching it on camera more and more. And that's the beautiful thing. So, Sri Ones, really focus on you. Focus on what's coming up. Honor your vessels. You know, if you're tired, but yet you have a scheduled interview, or you have something scheduled that you have to do, and you feel it's your mission to keep pushing forward, honor thyself. Honor thyself. Because you can't do your mission, your purpose, or anything else if you're half asleep and you're not centered and balanced and focused. Or if you're going through a huge sector of flu-like symptoms, frequency light upgrades, and you feel really weak and this or that, honor thyself. Take a day off, if you will. Don't push yourself to the point where you're going to short circuit your vessel. And that's really important and necessary to understand right now, because your bodies are going through major upgrades. It's the last thing, if you will, that's holding density, or carbon-based density. Just like the planet is shedding her skin, so too are you. And as you never stop. Just because your physical vessel has to rest, the rest of you is still, what some coin, working hard. And again, working hard, that's all part of that patriarchal enslavement. Words are powerful. Being dedicated and working hard are the same thing, only two different ways of saying it. Frequency of words. Words are powerful. And as long as you keep convincing yourself that you have to work hard, you are keeping yourself in a enslavement frequency. Because in the higher realms, what the human aspect coins work is passion's play. And we are very dedicated to that. And when you're dedicated to your own passion, it never is work. And it's something that you can do and put all your effort into, all your focus, all your dedication into, because it's your passion and it does not feel like work. And that's the necessity of following that which twitterpates your heart. That which twitterpates your heart. If you are crossing paths with another, if you are finding yourself meeting one of your galactic families, because each of you have been assigned 2 galactic guides with you at this time, at this space. And these 2 galactic guides will be with you going into to help you get accustomed to being and living in your light bodies. They are going to introduce you and help you remember, if you will, or rediscover aspects of your higher selves. They're representing that for you. And the more you can focus within, you're going to find, and the more you allow yourself to communicate with your vessel and with your galactic guides, whether you can see them or not, and really fully trust in yourself, in what is being presented for you, this will be much easier. And it's only the human logical mind that cannot grasp the light body aspects, the light beings, because it's not tangible. And the human mind needs tangibility. And so this is where, on your journeys, this is where the programming that you have been overriding with your heart is allowing your heart to convince, if you will, your logic that it's okay to embrace non-tangibility. That's that balance of your left and right brain. And as for those who are unawakened, with this mass awakening that's going on, that's what's happening with that. Because they're coming into more balance, not full balance, but more balance of the masculine and feminine. Both sides of the brain are working right now rather than just the left brain. And so that's what much in the collective of humanity, you're really going to start seeing that fear. Because they're going to start seeing things like we've been seeing that we know are just energies and our ancestors visiting us, if you will. And in situations like that. And so, but they're not at that understanding we are. And that's where we have to be the pillars of peace and show them. And that is what is occurring. And that's occurring for some of the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th waivers. You know, they're being revealed more. And a lot of that more is the galactic side of things to many of you. And as that information is slowly activated within you, it's going to activate any fears that you have tied to that. That is preventing you from bringing in the light encoded filaments into your vessel. So if you have any fears or beliefs attached to extraterrestrials or aliens in any way, shape, or form, and you have not neutralized and harmonized those fears, they're coming up right now. But you have to approach it, sweet ones, just like you approach everything else on your journey. It has nothing to do with anything outside of you. It has everything to do with inside of you. And the more you can face your own judgments and your own opinions of reptilians and greys and Dracos and this and that and the other, anything that is of a lower dense energy belief, it's coming up. It's coming up to be addressed, and you're finding a lot of that has to do with the galactic and extraterrestrial side of things. And that's because that's the frequency we have moved into. the planet has already gone to, and on the physical plane is becoming more aware. But we exist in a multi-sun galaxy, the Andromedan galaxy. And that's where the planet is moving into on the physical plane. And as you do that, the Andromedan galaxy is in the fifth dimensional octave bandwidth. And Phoenix, I've never had any fear of other beings. No, but the collective has, beautiful. And that's what we're transmuting. So if you're having those experiences, sweet ones, no, you're transmuting for the collective. Because the more we neutralize that and detach from that 3D collective consciousness, you're connecting and tuning in simultaneously with the 5D collective consciousness. And you're finding that the planetary consciousness and human consciousness, if you will, is really connecting and merging more into one. And that's a beautiful thing. Let me catch up to what Peter is saying here. I don't know who's Peter's talking to right there. So, anyway, sweethearts, really be present with yourself and honor yourself through this. More and more, you're going to continue to rise in frequency. The intensity is going to continue to increase within and without. Morphine, you're really going to find morphine is going to continue to take place. Transformation, you're going to find that your physical vessels are going to continue to morph even more and more into, and the best thing you can really truly do for yourself, sweethearts, and we can do for all, is be present with yourself and really allow yourself to go within and release any carbon-based density or fear that resides within you. And anything and everything that is in your observation, if it is not of love, bliss, harmony, peace, and joy, is there showing you a space to release, to be the conduit for the planet, as together we go through this ascension fully, because that's where we're at. We're right smack in the middle of it, and it's not as bad as y'all thought it was going to be. Now is it? That's the power of us. And when the heart overwrites thought, we change the outcome, and we have. So keep going within. Stay right here in your peaceful hearts. Let people be where they're at. There's no sin, there's no purpose or reason. If you don't resonate, you don't resonate. Let it go. Bless them. Doesn't mean you have to fight or debate or anything else, sweet ones. When you come into that understanding that everybody is at the space that they need to be at, that everybody is at their own level of frequency, and that because of everybody being at their own level of frequency and their own timelines and the beliefs and stuff that they choose to hold on to, not everybody's going to resonate with what you say. And you're not going to resonate with everything they say. That doesn't mean you can't exist side by side, hand in hand. There's no reason to debate, You are the universe, and the universe is in you. Many of you say that all the time. Well, then allow every other being to be their own universe and them in their own universe without judgment or opinion or reaction to it. You want equality, practice it. You want peace, you have to practice it. You want what you want. Where are you not allowing everybody else to have and be and believe and do what they want? Just because it doesn't resonate with you doesn't make it wrong, sweet ones. Just because you don't resonate with it doesn't make them a false prophet. You are the false prophets, just like you are the real prophets. It's all a separation mind programming. You are all things and no things. And when you really truly come into that frequency and that space and that true understanding of unity and what interconnectedness means and what oneness means, then you will see, and you will be able to see where the words you speak, you're only seeing through the human lens. Where the beliefs you hold, whatever it is, when you come into the understanding in the moment that you need to come into the understanding at the frequency you are at, you will have that aha moment, and you will see your own self-deception, and you will see, oh, I've been telling people this and I was not accurate because I didn't have the full, deeper clarity I needed. Remember, you're always experiencing your own energy. So if you're shouting out that somebody's a false prophet, or that they're evil, they're demonic, or they're of the dark, you're seeing yourself. And until you can really, truly see the emotional manipulation attachments to it being everybody else's fault, and everybody else is to blame, or you're trying to compete with me, or you're evil, or this person is being aggressive, or you're cold-hearted, or you're not authentic, or you're not genuine, guess who you're talking about? Certainly not the person you're expressing it to. And until you can see your own reflection of your own perception, because perception is yours and yours alone. It belongs to nobody else. And until you can change your own perception, that's what will continue to occur for you. You're always being shown your own character in every given breath, in every given moment, in every given experience, through every single being outside of you. Whether that's your lover, whether that's your so-called enemy, whether that's your children, whether that's the trees or the dogs, it don't matter. In every given breath, you are being shown yourself. And when you can embrace all aspects of yourself and all perceptions, good, bad, or indifferent of yourself, then you will truly understand unity and oneness and interconnectedness. But as long as you still find yourself in a space of, well, I don't resonate with you anymore, so you're wrong, you're a false prophet, or that's a flat out lie, that's not truth, people love to argue, people love to debate, people love to tell each other they're wrong. Take the ideologies of the earth being round and the earth being flat. Who cares? It's a starship. The amount of energy that is wasted on something that truly has no bearing on the future, that truly you're arguing something over the past archonic grid that was created there, a belief system. And when you go within, you come to understand it doesn't matter to debate it, because everybody's at their own level of interpretation because of their own level of frequency they're at. And to debate it is pointless, because people are never going to agree always. So why argue and fight over it? Because everybody will always be at their own level of frequency, and whatever level of frequency they're at. it will have and hold its own truth, its own clarity. And so the higher in frequency you allow yourself to rise to, that clarity brings deeper truth. And that's why, sweethearts, there is no wrong or right. It just is. In the middle path, in the gray area, in unity and interconnectedness and oneness. Your opinion does not matter, because your opinion is a judgment. Divine love has no judgment. It has no opinion. It has no reaction, because divine love understands that the truth is as fluid as the frequency maintained and held within. And that truth that you hold in any given moment will change, because your soul is always evolving up. And the higher up in frequency you go, deeper clarity will always come. So really allow people in the space that we're coming into, or that your vessel is coming into and catching up with, that we're already in. If you're finding yourself having to debate, it's showing you a space within yourself where there's density. Because divine love allows all to be, regardless. Because love is everything, including what the human will label dark and demonic and Satan. Everything is just a frequency. And as you are being returned to your natural state of frequencies, you have to shed that denseness, or those spaces within you of lack of information need to be filled with information, and that information is coming from the light encoded filaments that are bathed in your vessels, that are bathed in this planet. Rhonda, even with people that have substance abuse, absolutely. You know, one thing that we have a tendency to do, sweethearts, and this goes for every light worker, we all go through it. We have a tendency to forget when we become awakened. We have a tendency to put ourselves in a space of forgetting that at one point in time we were in those same spaces of being unawakened, and we had those same addictions in one way or the other. Just because somebody is addicted to substance abuse is no different than somebody addicted to watching porn. It's no different than a woman being addicted to buying shoes. It is no different than a sexual addiction. It is no... So a lot of it, sweet ones, again, you were in those spaces. And just because you have awakened to yourself doesn't make... Just because you're no longer trapped and veiled in that darkness doesn't make those people that are still, who have chosen to continue to evolve their souls and not awaken to all that they are right now, it doesn't make it wrong. Because they are where they're at, right where they need to be, just like you are. So, yes, Rhonda, I'm going to answer that in that way. Even with people that have substance abuse, yes. Because even though it seems like they're doing something to you and they're trying to hurt you, they're not doing anything. What they're not doing anything to you, they're doing something for you. So if you are experiencing with a family member, a lover, whoever it may be, substance abuse, alcohol abuse, and that's very prevalent right now in the lightworker community with their family members or with people they care about. It's being brought up for you because you still hold shame, blame, and guilt within your cellular DNA memory attached to whatever addictive behavior you individually had before you were awakened. The way to change anything in your children, your grandchildren, your siblings, your family, is you have to change it within you. Anything that any of the light workers do within yourself, you are clearing the generational and the ancestral and the future and in the past 7 years, or seven generational cycles, if you will. And those aren't generational cycles in the sense of the human, if you will. We're talking like well, this isn't completely accurate, but to help give you an idea of what I'm trying to convey is liken it to like 7 ascension cycles, if you will. Generational ascent, going forward, going backwards. You have cleared it for all in that sense. So it's not like you're just clearing for you and your family. You're literally clearing, because again, we're the first and the last. We are never ending. And Rhonda, sweetheart, I'm showing you how to handle it. Go within to you. What you see and are experiencing with your family members or whomever you're experiencing these addictive behaviors with. Just what I just got done saying, I'll say it again. You have to go within and find where the blame and the guilt and the shame that you still hold within you from your own addictive behaviors. You would not be observing it or experiencing it in this moment right now. It would not be in your perceptual observation in the outside world or the outside experiences if you did not hold that condensed light energetic behavioral template still within you. And the only way to change it in your family members, in what you're observing, is to go within. What feelings is it triggering for you, Rhonda? What is it bringing up for you? What are you viewing? What are you observing? And what you are observing, when you're observing it, feel into it. Okay, what are you trying to show me about myself here? Okay, show me self, show me the template. And literally go within yourself and address where you still have an opinion or a judgment, observation, perception. I'm not saying that you personally are judging, Rhonda, but where is the program in your mind that's presenting itself showing you where there is still opinion or judgment or emotional attachment to that scenario, if you will, to that behavior, not necessarily your brother, your lover, whoever's doing it, but to the energetic scenario behavioral imprint that it's trying to show you. And when you can go within and see what that is, you can change it. And it literally has to strictly do with shame, blame, and guilt of your own addictions and participation in your own addictions in the past. Hey, quit doing that now. This baby kitten. No, come on now. You don't need to do that. And so, let's see what she just said. Let me catch up. I see self-destruction in the physical sense. Okay. Now go within you and sit with yourself. And detach your emotions. Don't get emotional. Don't judge it or whatever. And just sit there and really be present and take yourself into a space of observation and observe your life, beautiful. Observe your life and see every experience. Allow yourself to see and feel every experience of where you were self-destructive, and to forgive yourself. Because right now what's being presented for each of you is any belief in an emotional ideology or attachment of belief to the fact of good, bad, wrong, any judgment you held within yourself towards any experience you've had. Shame, blame, guilt, unworthiness, rejection, abandonment. And when you say you see, Rondi, that you see self-destruction in the physical sense, okay, that's just your spirit showing you. This is a scene and an energy that you played out in the past. Now that you're observing it, you can go in and you can say, I no longer need that energetic pattern. Let's change it. And you change it through how you react to it. And again, if you notice, sweethearts, the higher in frequency this planet, on the physical aspect of it goes, you're going to really, if you allow yourself to step out of yourself and really observe, you will really see where where everybody told you it was the right thing to do. Well, don't follow your heart, you're just going to get hurt. Or artists don't make enough money. You need a real job. You need an education. You know, all those beliefs, those are all directly in you not following your passion and your dreams. And yeah, my mom and dad are right. I need a job and this and that. And I need $1 million in the bank account in order to be able to retire. Otherwise, I got to work hard. I can't retire. All of those beliefs are directly tied into self-destruction. So if you're seeing self-destruction, that's really just giving you an opportunity to go within and see where you have not forgiven yourself for those unawakened miscreation and those unawakened choices and miscreations of self-destructive behavior. And when you're going to find, when you can truly neutralize that energetic behavioral imprint within you, it's going to affect your brother or whomever you're experiencing outside with that self-destructive observation. It will change for them because you've changed it within you. And when you change it within, you cannot create a new story using the same words and the same storylines and the same characters in the same setting. In order to have a new story, you have to change the storylines. You have to change the scenery. You have to change the foundation. And the only way to change the foundation is to get to the core imprint, the core energetic behavioral imprint. I'm not on the same page with Peter. Peter, I don't understand what you mean by that. God bless you, sweetheart. And so, sweet ones, really, again, it's all about you. It's always been about you. Why are most of the beautiful light workers, including myself, often so skinned? What do you mean by skinned? Makey, what do you mean by why are most of the beautiful light workers, including myself, often so skinned? I'm not sure what you mean by skinned. Okay, Mickey, you really got to explain that one, because I'm even trying to feel into that with my spirit. And I'm not getting out of money. Because of your attachments, emotional attachments to money, that money's your savior and the money's the root of all evil. Does that contract that polarity belief? That you think money can rescue you and take you out of all your problems? Well, it can on the physical plane. But, again, as long as you hold that belief and that attachment that you need money to survive, that you need money to provide for you, as long as you hold those beliefs, you'll be in a space of lack. And you'll be in a space of struggle. You have to release your emotional dependency and your physical codependency on the beliefs that you have attached to money. And to answer your question further, out of money, because we're conduits. And the only way to bring anything back to a neutral 0 point, a balance and harmony, to change its energetic frequency, is to let go of all the attachments to it. And one thing about humanity, in the 3D arcanic grid, you guys were taught to be attached to people and material things and money, to have an intense connection to codependency, to put the responsibility of yourself onto everybody else. Everybody else was to blame. Everybody else is responsible for every wrong in your life. Everybody else is responsible to rescue you and to save you from when you get yourself into hot water, yada, 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 yada. Peter, I say, I come from 175 million years in the future. I come from the 144th dimension. You will find, sweet ones, that truly, when you can release your attachments to lack and struggle and know, not just believe it, but truly feel into the knowing that in every given moment you are protected and provided for, when you fully step into that knowing and don't doubt that knowing that you will in every given moment be provided for, regardless if you know how you're going to be provided for or when. You cannot attach expectation to spirit. And when you can release your emotional attachments to money and to lack and release the codependency to it, that you have to have it or you're going to die. You have to have it in order to survive, because that's the mind programming humanity has been enslaved in. Because that's what's made them codependent on the outside world and on their government and on the elites. That's what's, that mindset and that mentality is what has made humanity slaves. And when you can release those emotional attachments, you will find the more you do that, the more the lack and the struggle and you being out of money, if you will cease. Everything is a frequency. You want abundance, you have to match that frequency. And I appreciate your directives, Peter. But honey, I don't have to do anything. Or I don't need to do anything, rather. Because that video, Peter, this video, anything you're saying, I don't need outside of me, sweetheart. I can go within me, Peter, and I can get any information that you have written on my video. I can get it within. Honey, I don't need to research anything, Peter. I don't need to look up anything, research anything to find out the truth of anything, sweetheart. And neither do you. Any truth you need, any information, any knowledge, any wisdom, you hold it within you. And sweethearts, the more that you dedicate yourself to practicing finding the information you need within you, rather than researching it or Googling it or watching videos on YouTube trying to learn about something, you will find you will activate yourself into even more higher frequencies. The more you dedicate yourself to the guidance you're getting from within, you will find you will enhance your intuition. You will enhance the communication with your motherships and your home bases and other star galaxies. You will find your intuition will increase. You will find communication will increase in all aspects, and you will find that the more you focus within here and operate from in here and rely in here for all your information and really feel from here into everything, you will find all the information you need is literally away. Click of your fingers. It's all right there. And having this video is for the viewers. This video is for Peter. People will see. Whoever needs to see the video will see it, honey. You know, it doesn't matter to me how many. I'm not here to have followers, Peter. You know, I'm not even here to be liked or loved. You know, you don't like me or love me, that's a space within you. That has nothing to do with me, you know. So, and sweethearts, that's where you're coming into. You're coming into that space of knowing that you don't have labels and definitions. And as soon as you can release the expectations to the labels and definitions that you've given to everything and everyone in your world, it'll be a lot easier. But it's coffee time. So happy Monday. The intensity will increase. And so too will the reflection of your characters until you release the carbon density. So whatever you're going through, whatever is arising, whether it's within as emotions coming up, is nightmares, visions, whatever it may be. And the same with the outside world. Whatever is arising as experiences or circumstances truly is just showing you the old that needs to be released. Because if it is presenting itself to you, if you are perceiving it, You are observing it, whether that is a post in your news feed, whether you deliberately watch other people, whatever it may be. If it is in your awareness, in your observation, within or without, it is showing you a space of carbon-based density that is left in your vessel that needs to be neutralized and transformed to light. It needs more information, because all density is, or darkness, is condensed light. Lack of information. Just need it. Just up sleeping crazy lately. It's 11:56 a.m. Wow, that it's 6:02 a.m. here. It says. Sheesh, I thought it was about 4 o'clock. I got woke up by my team at 1:44, I think it was this morning. And there was no going back to bed. I was told, get up. So I got up and I did my meditation and whatnot. But so, as long as you can really just stay centered in your peaceful heart, sweet ones, really not get into an emotional state of mind, and able to really observe what is coming up. It's just showing you. It's just showing you the condensed light that is still held within you. It really is nothing about anybody else. And the more right now, especially the first wavers and us gatekeepers and grid line workers, this is a great time for us. This is where we fully need to be in a space of focusing on charging our light bodies. Because the more we do it, the second wavers, the third wavers, the fourth wavers, the fifth wavers will catch up. It will affect them, everything we're doing right now. And we are the way showers. We are the leaders. And, leading doesn't necessarily mean we're always in front. Some of us are in the far back waiting, pushing the rest of you guys along. And for those who are having trouble walking, we're right there lifting you up. And in French, what I do love, you can just try to have evolved. Thank you. I love you, Peter. And you're going to find, sweet ones, the language barrier that we have as far as the human aspect of it. People who speak French, Spanish, there is a language barrier for those of us who speak English, or vice versa. Because in the European countries, their words have not been manipulated like the English language. And so, just like Peter being in French, they have different understandings of the words that we use, and to connect with them can really activate you into more expanded awareness, because they use many of the words in the true context that they were created in the European countries versus in the Americas. And almost the English language, truly, if you understand anything about linguistics and the history of words and how words are created through sounds and symbols and frequencies, and that's why it's so important to master your words, because the English language loves to put curses on themselves. And I use curses in every sense the human will take it as. And words are a promise you make to yourself. It's a promise or a curse. When you can observe what you're saying, and you can master your words, and you can feel and not think before you speak, but feel before you react, before you speak, you're going to save yourself a whole lot of instant energy right back in your face. Life is an echo. What you put out comes back. Only when it comes back enhanced from what you put out, sevenfold. Hidden power of 7. And all 144,000 of us that carry the hidden Jesus bloodline have the hidden power of 7. So, when you come into knowing, I love you, Peter. I love you all. You guys are just such a blessing to me. And really step into what's being activated, sweet ones. Really feel into it. Really allow yourself to expand, whether your logic can sit there and wrap itself around it or not. Whether your mind wants to convince you that you're hallucinating, that you didn't hear that guidance, that you didn't interpret it accurate, whatever it may be. Overwrite your mind with your heart. Tell your ego, go on vacation. Your heart's got this. Whatever you have to do. But right now you're being asked by your soul and your spirit, and by your guides and by your team, and by Mother, Father, Creator, to master thyself. And the only way to master thyself is to observe thyself as all others. What you see in anything you have within you. And if it's a judgment or a debate or an opinion, whatever, observe it and truly see if it still resonates at the frequency of what your spirit is showing you. Because that's the only way to change it. If you don't like what you see in the outside world, find the energetic space within you. You are a conduit. And as long as you sit there and say it's not about me, it's about somebody else, then you're dishonoring yourself. And you're dishonoring your purpose of being here on this earth plane in this moment right now. And that is a lot of the self-deception that is presenting itself right now and arising in a varied display of experiences and circumstances for all of us, however that may be. And you will find the more you can allow yourself to let go of separation, you're going to find life will become magical. Life will become blissful. Life will become abundant. And life will become your ultimate love story. Because it's all just a frequency of energy. It's all just a vibration. And when you can let go of your beliefs and everything that you've learned and been taught and everything of the old grids, the old 4D, it's still really dark out, the old 3D archonic grid, anything that was created in it, when you let it go, you're bringing yourself back to all that you are and all that you've known. The only thing that keeps you from your ultimate love story is yourself. That you keep blaming on the outside world, whether it be Donald Trump, your government, this, that, or the other. Or whether it's me that you guys blame as a false prophet. The only thing that's keeping you from your ultimate love story and your heavenly paradise is yourself. Because you keep projecting it out and blaming it on something outside of you. And you don't take that ownership and that responsibility for your own play in that energy, behavioral pattern, however it played out for you. And until you can allow yourself to come into that space of truth and raw honesty and authenticity and genuineness with yourself, You will find everybody outside of you, whether it's awakened or unawakened, a false prophet, a liar, a cheater, a stealer, and them doing something to you, and they are to blame for your miserable life. Simple as that, sweet ones. It's all perception. You are the only one that keeps you trapped, because you've been set free. And if you don't feel free, observe why. And you will find the false prophet, and you will discover your own self-deception. I love you, sweet ones. Dance in the knowing that all you are is love, and everything else that comes up was just part of the program and the game that you decided to play to help you see your own self-deception. I love you. Have a great day. Big blessings. And know you got this. There's nothing to be ashamed of, sweet ones. There's nothing to feel guilty of. There's nothing to regret. There's no mistakes. There's no regrets. There's no bad choices. There is none of that. And as long as you still see that, you're being given a huge miraculous gift of opportunity. So allow yourselves to step into the opportunities, because they're there in every given breath. You just have to be able to see it. You just have to be able to embrace it and learn to dance with it. I love you guys. Have a great Monday. Coffee time. Bye-bye now.